Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I have the cutest sewn bow quilted tote bag for you to make. This also would make a perfect handmade gift for anybody that you know that loves books or needs a cute bag like this. I use mine for my library books and it works perfectly. I'm going to be giving a step-by-step tutorial, and all the materials and measurements will be in the description below. I'll also be posting a separate short video on how I made this adorable matching keychain with a free printable. So let's get into it. I start by measuring and cutting out my front and back panels, and then I took a piece of paper and I put it on the front panel to see how big I wanted the front pocket to be, and then I used that as the template for my front and inside pocket template. And then I cut out the inside lining fabric and I used the front and back panels as a template for that to cut. And I measured and cut out my straps, so you need 2 of those as well. And then finally I cut out the fleece lining that is for the front, back panel, both pockets, and both straps. I actually ended up adding another layer of polyester batting to this for the front and back panels and pockets because I decided that it didn't look as puffy as I wanted. So after I did that, it looked exactly the way that I wanted. After cutting, you'll end up with 2 fleece linings for the front and back panels, a front and back panel, 2 pieces for the lining, 2 pocket pieces each for each pocket, plus the fleece lining, and then 2 fleece linings for the straps and both straps. And then later in the video, I'll show you the 2 strips for the bow. Now begins the quilting process, and I wanted to do like a straight line channel quilting, so I just draw straight lines going down, and then I spaced them 1 inch apart. And I used my heat erasable pen here. I absolutely love it, and it's like magic when you put an iron to it. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. So I do this to the front, back panels, and both pockets. To quilt, I just place my front and back panels on top of the fleece lining, and then later I show you how I added the other piece of batting underneath, and then I just sew straight down on the lines that I created. And then I do this for the front, back panel, and then both pockets, one side. To make the pockets, I put both pieces right sides together, and then I sew along 3 sides, leaving one end open so I could turn it right side out. And then before I do that, I clip each end so then the corners stay a little bit sharper. So then just turn your pocket right side out with the end open, and then you'll sew that shut once you put it on the inside panel and the front panel. Here's a little bit better of a shot with my second pocket of everything that I did. Also, I wanted to mention that for the second pocket, I actually did the fleece lining just a little bit shorter on the end. So then when I folded it together, it fit just a little bit better and it wasn't too hard with the extra layer of lining. Then I went ahead and ironed the pockets to get rid of the pen marks, and then to make the crease at the bottom to prepare it for sewing. Then I made a 2x2 square on each corner of the front and back panels, and then the lining as well. And then I cut them out, and this is going to make the corners and make it like a boxy tote bag. After that, I ironed off all of my quilting lines from my pen. I seriously just love those pens. It really does work just like magic. But I do want to mention, if you're using a polyester batting like I did, to make sure that the heat is a little bit lower because it does make it a little bit flatter. Now I sew the front pocket onto the front panel, and I do that by pinning it and then sew around 3 sides and making sure that the bottom is closed up so it has a nice crisp line on the bottom. Now the bag will finally start coming together because I'm going to sew the front and back panels together by pinning the right sides together and then sewing along each side, and then the bottom leaving your cut out 2-inch squares alone. Once that's done, you're going to make your corners by matching the seams on the bottom shown like this, and then sewing along to close it up. Right side out it, and then this is going to be what it looks like, and it's finally starting to look like a tote bag. And then you're going to do the same exact thing with the inside lining, except you're going to leave a few inch gap on the bottom that you don't sew because you're going to need to turn the whole thing out then. It would be really helpful if you did this step before sewing the lining together, but I had forgot, so I sewed the pocket now for the inside lining on top. The last structural part of the bag is sewing the straps together, so I folded them right sides together and I leave a gap in the middle because I have to turn them right side out. When I'm done, I turn them right side out and I use the end of a pen to kind of push it all the way through. And then I top stitch on each end of the strap, closing up the seam while I do it. Evenly pin the straps to the bag, I took out my ruler and I put the middles of the straps at the 3-inch and the 12-inch mark. And then I did a basting stitch to hold them in place before I did the next step. Finally, you're going to put the whole bag inside the lining of the bag so right sides will be together. And make sure you're doing this the way that you want it. So I wanted my inside lining pocket to be in the opposite side of my front side pocket. And also make sure you're tucking in those straps nicely so they don't get in the way when you're sewing the lining onto the top. Match the seams and then pin it all together and sew along the edge so then all of the lining is sewed on. Now we can finally see our whole project come together, and using that hole at the bottom of the bag that we left, you're going to pull the whole thing through. Top stitch the hole in the lining, and then we're going to sew around the top edge of the bag so then the lining stays secure. And finally, my favorite part, the adorable bows that are on each end of the straps. I used the same exact method that I did to make the straps to make the bows, so just do the same thing. Folding it right sides together, leaving a few inch gap in the middle, and then turning them right sides out, and then top stitching. You could always do a cute end of the bow, like make it curved or angled, but I just really like the way that the straight look looked. Final and last step is to tie the bows around the straps. This is the method that I like to use. You use what works best for you. I am absolutely obsessed with the way that this turned out. When I saw this fabric, this is exactly what I envisioned, and I am so glad that I was able to recreate what was in my head. I use this bag all the time, and it is so functional and adorable. If you decide to recreate this bag, please tag me, and I would love to see your version of it. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll do sewing projects like this, DIYs, crafts, and homemade recipes. And also don't forget to check out my short of the keychain that I made to match this bag. That'll be out soon, and I'll see you in the next one.